Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk OMMA. I'm your host, Portia Riley, and the agency's PIO. Joining me today is Jerin Presley, our agency liaison. How are you, Jerin?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thanks for joining me. You serve as our agency liaison. Just kind of talk about what that entails.
My position as the agency liaison has been to gather working groups of different state agencies. We meet quarterly, sometimes more, to try to tackle some of the unique problems that have arisen from the industry. We collaborate with DEQ, the Oklahoma Water Resource Board, Oklahoma Rural Water Association, Construction Industry Board, the State Fire Marshal, LP Gas, tribes, and really many, many more across the state. Anybody who runs into a problem, especially with any of our commercial licensees, we try to address those.
Collaborating with other state agencies, talk about the benefit to OMMA and licensees and Oklahomans in general.
Yeah, so it's important for us to all be on the same page, working together. That way you don't have to go 8 different directions to find an answer, and we can come together and just provide you with one accurate answer or one accurate piece of information. With our inspections, we do joint inspections with other state agencies, so oftentimes we go out together, we travel together, we're all at one site together, achieving whatever type of inspection we're trying to get done. And so that's also beneficial because we're there collaborating and communicating with one another, and I think we're able to really serve our licensees in that capacity.
And then talk about some of the conversations and things that go on inside these meetings when you all get together.
A lot of discussion revolves around what possible legislation could be addressed to maybe help us solve some of these problems more efficiently. Each state agency has a couple different working groups that we've created. One focuses more on like environmental areas, while others may be focused a little more about regulatory bodies. We've never really had state agency working groups like this before, and so it's been really unique to see how that's come together and just the amount of collaboration and then really effectiveness I feel like it's had so far.
What are you hearing from an industry perspective?
So far, I've heard a lot of positive feedback about the number of things that we're doing at OMMA. We are really getting out there to spread education. We want to let people know about the different changes that are being made, that are coming. It's been very well received to this point, and I feel like we've had a substantial impact.
You and I do the bulk of these public presentations, and I know I get a lot of feedback about people just being so grateful for the information because they had that general misunderstanding of who we are and what we do. Talk about what you're hearing and the feedback that you're getting.
I think as it relates to most people, they just want a point of contact, somebody they know they can reach out to get information from. But more importantly, sometimes it's just about listening. It's always good to be out in the community and listen to other people and get their thoughts and just let them maybe even vent a little bit or tell their 2 cents about what's going on. And so it's good to kind of be on both levels of that, not just providing information, but being able to listen to others and hear what they're saying.
Working within an agency that's newer, that's ever evolving, talk about the importance of combating the misinformation that's out there.
And so that's a big part of our job at OMMA, and my job is to make sure that we are spreading the correct messaging and then we're giving the correct information for people to utilize. And I feel like once they have that information, they're relieved. There's a sense of being like, okay, I'm doing this correctly and we're operating correctly. And so it's always just a nice part of the job as well is just knowing that you're helping people and that you're bringing some relief to some of their fears.
I've heard from other state agencies the benefits of having you as a resource. How does that make you feel hearing that feedback?
It makes me feel great. I'm glad that OMMA's out there being proactive. I take a lot of pride in what I do. So I take a lot of pride in our state and our partners, and we're all working together as one team to accomplish a goal, doing what's best for the citizens of the state of Oklahoma.
You're working with other state agencies, you're talking to the industry, you're doing public presentations to put out information and combat misinformation, and now you're taking on outreach and events.
I'm really excited to do events. We have a lot of great people that work at OMMA, and so I know that the events that we're going to put on are going to be great. We're going to put on some phenomenal things as far as education is concerned. I'm truly passionate about education, and so just knowing that we're going to continue to spread our message both externally and internally through these education and outreach events is pretty exciting.
Talk about your background in education and how it's prepared you for this role.
Oddly enough, there are a lot of parallels between what I currently do and my old job as a principal. And so I deal with a number of complaints or issues, and I used to deal with a number of complaints and issues in my old profession as well. And so I feel like it's kind of prepared me to tackle some of those tasks. You always have to be willing to listen to other people's point of view, and you have to be flexible. And then it's similar in that you just have to be creative in your approach to problem solving.
I can see how that transition would be so beneficial working here because teachers are constantly dealing with things. I feel like you have to be willing to be go, go, go here, and it kind of correlates with working in education.
I think you nailed it. That is absolutely the case for sure.
Do you miss getting the summers off?
Oh, absolutely. I will say that you don't really get summers off as a principal very much. It's more like a couple weeks, but it is nice to have those sporadic vacations here and there with different breaks throughout the school year. Definitely miss those.
What was that moment that made you think, I want to work in the medical marijuana industry?
Probably my faith in Director Barry. I've known Director Barry for a little bit of time, even before my time here at OMMA. She's incredibly smart. She's incredibly dedicated. So being able to join her team, I looked at that as a great opportunity. And so I'm thankful for that.
It's not always easy working here. What gets you through those harder days?
You know, I can say that most of my days at OMMA are actually great. It feels like there is something new and exciting every day, if not every week. So it's just looking forward to those things and knowing that my supervisors and the people here trust me to do my job. And so that also makes every day a little bit easier.
I agree. I think the people here are so amazing. And when you have those good people that you work with on a daily basis, those hard days are so much easier because you're surrounded by people who have those same goals for this agency that you do.
Absolutely.
On to the hard question. What do you like to do outside of work?
Oh, so first would be spending time with my family. So I have two young boys, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we do lots of sports and everything on the weekend. I'm an avid golfer, and so I try to play as much golf in my free time as I possibly can. And outside of that, I just love sports. I've played sports most of my life, and so I'm a big OU football fan as well as a Raiders fan, and so those things preoccupy probably the majority of my time outside of work.
Same. I'm a huge sports fan. And then is there anything that you wanted to add that maybe I didn't ask or touch on?
I'm very grateful for all the state agencies I work with. We have so many tremendous partners. They've all been flexible, adaptable, and just willing to help us in any way that they can. I've not met anybody from a different state agency that wasn't willing to really listen or collaborate on a project. I really just appreciate that Director Barry trusts me to go out to foster these relationships and solve these problems. And so I'm just grateful for that opportunity.
Well, thank you again, Jerin, so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.
And thank you to all the listeners for tuning in to another episode of Let's Talk OMMA.